Okay children, in this video we are going to discuss various types of capacitors and related derivations. Make sure you understand them, they are important for board exams and also for building concepts which are required for competitive examinations. Okay, capacitance. In this video we are going to discuss capacitance. The first interesting discussion that we will have is capacitance of earth. Capacitance of earth. Children, earth acts like a giant conductor actually, and earth is a spherical object, as you know. So we will assume here first capacitance of a sphere, and then actually we will discuss capacitance of earth. So let us discuss a sphere. Radius of the sphere is r and the total charge distributed on the sphere is q. First capacitance of a sphere, and then we will modify this equation for capacitance of earth. So we will assume that the total charge on the sphere is q. So let charge on the sphere is equal to q, and the radius of the sphere is equal to r. So we have a sphere which is holding charge q on it and radius is r. Then we know potential of the sphere will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. So this is the potential of the sphere, and when we know potential of the sphere, children, we can easily calculate capacitance of the sphere. C is equal to q by v, q by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. So this will cancel out, and from here we get a very important result. C is equal to 4 pi epsilon 0 into r. So this is the capacitance of any sphere. You can clearly see that the capacitance is not depending on the value of charge, it is only depending upon the radius r, because 4 pi epsilon naught is a constant. So we conclude here C is directly proportional to the radius of the sphere. We come across a very important result, that if you have been given a spherical conductor, then its capacitance will be directly proportional to the what? The radius. Now I will be using this derivation, this result which you got here, to calculate capacitance of earth. Capacitance of earth. Children, earth acts as a giant sphere, and radius of earth is how much? Radius of earth RE is nearly 6400 kilometers. If we change into meters, then it will be 64 into 10 power 5 meter. So this is radius of earth, and when we know radius of earth, we can easily calculate capacitance. Therefore capacitance of earth C is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught into radius of earth. 4 pi epsilon naught we know is how much? 1 by 9 into 10 power 9, and this is radius is 64 into 10 to the power 5. So it will be coming 7.13 into 10 power minus 4 farad. So if you make a capacitor as big as earth, then its capacitance is 7.13 into 10 power minus 4 farad, which is very small. I told in the beginning of the discussion that it will be very difficult to have a capacitor with a capacitance of 1 farad. 1 farad is a very large unit of capacitance. So this is going to be the capacitance of the earth. Now if you want to change into microfarad, then C will be 7.13 into 10 to the power minus 4 minus 6 farad, microfarad. 713, so you can write like this, 713 microfarad. So capacitance of earth in farad will be 713 10 to the minus 6 farad. This result can be written, which is, and we know that this is equal to 1 microfarad. So capacitance of earth will be 713 microfarad. Okay, so this is an important result, and you can therefore understand that having capacitance of 1 farad is extremely difficult. Now children, we will be discussing another very important topic, that is a parallel plate capacitor. There will be many concepts in it that you should understand. A parallel plate capacitor, like I said, in its arrangement consisting of two parallel plates, capacitance of parallel plate capacitor. Let's discuss capacitance of parallel plate capacitor. A parallel plate capacitor is an arrangement consisting of two parallel plates. One plate is here and the other plate is here. This is one plate and this is another plate. Charges are distributed here. You know, in case of a plate, charge will be distributed where? On the surface. It will have a surface density of charge, and this one is having negative charge. Separation between the two plates is D, and surface area of each plate is how much? E. Right? So what is a parallel plate capacitor? A parallel plate capacitor is an arrangement consisting of two parallel plates. We know that both the plates will have equal and opposite charges. I will be charging one of the plates, the other will be developing charges by induction. I will connect it to earth. For example, if I can connect it to earth, it will have equal amount of negative charges. Clear? Now surface area of each plate is A. If surface density of charge of the upper plate is plus sigma, then the lower plate will be how much? Minus sigma, because they are having equal surface areas, equal surface density of charge, and equal charges on each of the plates. Now let's choose any point between them here. Suppose P is a point between the two plates. Electric field to the upper plate I will call plate 1, and lower plate I will call plate 2. Electric field at any point between the two plates due to upper plate will be away from the positive charge. So this is E1, and due to the lower plate will be directed into the plate, that is E2. So you can see here both the fields are in the same direction. Okay. So electric field between the two plates, E will be equal to E1 plus E2, and we know E1 and E2 both will be equal sigma upon 2 epsilon 0. Clear? So electric field between the two plates will be how much, children? Sigma upon epsilon naught. At any point between the two plates, electric field will be sigma upon epsilon naught, right? And if I take any point outside, they will cancel out. Now let separation between the plates is D. Separation between the plates is equal to D. Therefore, potential difference V will be E into D, which will be sigma into D by epsilon naught. So, we calculated potential difference between the two plates, and surface density of charge is what? Plus sigma and minus sigma. Then how much is charge? Charge Q will be sigma into E. So, children, we know how much is the charge, we also know how much is the potential difference. Therefore, capacitance of parallel plate capacitor is C is equal to Q by V. C is equal to Q by V, and now how much is Q, and we also know how much is V. So, that is sigma into V divided by epsilon 0 E by epsilon 0 D by sigma into D by epsilon 0. Cancel out these two. So, C is equal to epsilon 0 E by D. So, here we come across expression for capacitance of parallel plate capacitor, epsilon naught into A by D, where A is what? Surface area. So, you can consider any type of surface. The surface could be rectangular. Suppose I am using special case for square plate. If the plate is square, then area will be what? Length into breadth, and then capacitance will be epsilon 0 into length into breadth divided by D. And suppose I have circular plates. For rectangular plates, for rectangular plate, and we have for circular plate area will be pi into r square. If the plate is like this, we can have any shape, we can have triangular, we can have square, we can have rectangular, any type of plates we can use. So, we have C is equal to epsilon naught into pi r square divided by D. So, you can modify your expression for any shape of the plate. Normally, in a parallel plate capacitor, if medium is not mentioned, then we will assume that the medium between the two plates is air. That is to be kept in mind. It is also called air core capacitor. Which capacitor? Air core capacitor. So, we saw capacitance of parallel plate when medium between the two plates is air. Remember, they will not give you medium. If medium is not given, then you will understand that I have to use this expression epsilon naught A by D, and that will apply to air core capacitor. Now, we will be saying a sandwiched capacitor, in which actually this will be a special case. If a dielectric slab is inserted between the plates. If a dielectric slab is inserted between the plates, this dielectric slab is a case of sandwich capacitor actually. Sandwich capacitor. Here we have the two plates. Let's understand it. This is positively charged plate, and this is negatively charged plate. Same plates that we discussed earlier. Separation is D, and between the two plates, surface density of charges are plus sigma and minus sigma. And here I am inserting a dielectric slab partially. The dielectric slab has been inserted partially. We will make an assumption The thickness of dielectric slab is T and dielectric constant is epsilon R. You can use K also, you can use epsilon R also. Clear? So let's try to understand. We have already discussed behavior of a dielectric slab in an external electric field. You know that electric field across the dielectric slab will become 1 upon epsilon naught times 1 upon epsilon R times the applied electric field. Okay. So suppose here electric field is E, which we already calculated earlier. Suppose this electric field is E. Then electric field across the dielectric slab here will become E by epsilon R. Okay. So let's start. But keep in mind that electric field across the dielectric slab will be E by epsilon R. So I'll say let a dielectric slab of thickness T and dielectric constant epsilon R, okay, is, you can use K also, any of these symbols you can use, K or epsilon R is inserted between the two plates, Clear? So we know that electric field across the slab will be E by epsilon R. Clear? So let's look at this. The separation between the two plates is D. Out of D, T is dielectric slab. Then how much is air? This and this is air. These two added together will be what? D minus T. Therefore, potential difference between the two plates V is equal to V in air plus V in dielectric. So V in air will be E into D minus T plus E by epsilon R into thickness is T. So you can see from here we can take E common, E, then what do you get here? D minus T plus T by epsilon R. So children, we have been able to calculate how much the potential difference between the two plates. We already calculated how much is E, but E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. Okay. So if I insert this value out here, then V will be equal to sigma by epsilon naught D minus T plus T by epsilon R. So see children, we have been able to calculate how much is the potential difference between the two plates. Okay. This is the potential difference between the two plates. And now charge Q is equal to sigma into A. We already know this. So if you know the charge and if you know the potential difference, then I'll calculate capacitance. C is equal to Q by V. So C will be sigma into A, and V how much you got? Sigma by epsilon naught D minus T plus T by epsilon R. If I cancel out sigma and sigma, then C is equal to epsilon naught A divided by D minus T plus T by epsilon R. So this is capacitance of the capacitor with dielectric slab as a medium. Okay. We discussed capacitance of a capacitor with dielectric slab as a medium. Now once I have done this, then we will be seeing another case in which the dielectric slab fills the entire what space, means there is no air, it is only dielectric slab. Okay, so that will be special case. This is special case 1. Now we are doing special case 2. But before that, we can have another situation also. We can have another situation also. This other situation is that instead of using, children, instead of using one dielectric slab, we may line up many thin slices of different dielectric materials like this. These are the two plates, positive, negative, and then I will place one dielectric slab here. Thickness is T1, dielectric constant is K1. Then I have another dielectric slab, thickness is T2, dielectric slab is K2. I can have another dielectric slab, thickness is T3, dielectric constant is K3, like this. Same situation, distance between the two plates is D. So, here you can see that you can modify the previous case. Previously we got C is equal to epsilon 0 A by D minus T plus T by K. Actually, we will modify this actually. Here we can modify this. C will be epsilon naught A will be same as A, and then this will be D minus T1 plus T1 by K1 minus T2 plus T2 by K2 minus T3 plus T3 by K3. Let us go on. So, we can sum it up, epsilon 0 A divided by D minus T1 plus T2 plus T3. If more are there, we can write dot dot plus T1 by K1 plus T2 by K2 plus T3 by K3 dot dot. So, this will be C. If we have many different dielectric slabs which are lined up between the two plates, okay, this one. Now, I can write this in short by using sigma notation. C is equal to epsilon 0 A by D minus sigma T plus sigma T by Q. I can also write like this, or clear. So, if you have a number of slabs between the two plates, I can use this formula. Short form is this formula. Clear? This is case 2. Now, case 3 we will see when the dielectric slab completely fills the space between the two slabs. Case 3. This is special case 3. Special case 3, when a dielectric slab is medium, means there is no air. Here we are saying when a dielectric slab is medium, we can use one dielectric or we can use a combination of many dielectrics. Let us see here, this is one plate, this is another plate, and the space between these two plates is completely filled by the dielectric. Distance is D, okay, and dielectric constant is epsilon R. You can also use K. So, in this case I can modify the first equation. We have C is equal to epsilon naught is. So in this case you can see that T will be equal to D. What you has T, the thickness, that will be equal to D, because completely filling the space between the two plates. So it will be D minus T plus T by K. So if I put D is equal to T, I get epsilon 0 A divided by D minus D plus D by K. You can see these two cancel out, and C becomes K into epsilon 0 A by D. Very interesting expression we get. In this case, capacitance becomes K times epsilon 0 A by D, or if you like to write epsilon R, then epsilon R into epsilon 0 A by D. Remember, for dielectric constant we can use K also, we can use epsilon R also. This result is very interesting. If I look at this expression epsilon 0 A by D, then we derived the first expression. This is capacitance of a capacitor with air as medium or air core capacitor. Like if I take like this, same capacitor plus minus, you may earth it if you want, same situation. So when I look at the capacitance of this one, it is epsilon R into epsilon naught A by D, and when I look at only this one, this is epsilon naught A by D. So that means by comparing these two expressions, we can say that capacitance with dielectric as medium, C with the medium is equal to epsilon R times C with air. So you can see that when I am filling the space between the two plates with dielectric medium, then capacitance is actually increasing. How many times? Epsilon R times. This is also called dielectric effect. So epsilon R can be written as capacitance with a dielectric medium divided by capacitance with air as medium. Now this is very important result, and this gives us definition of dielectric constant also. The dielectric constant of a medium is defined as the ratio of capacitance with dielectric as medium to the capacitance with air as medium, provided distance between the plates remains same. Very interesting. Let us see, here I have a parallel plate capacitors. Its capacitance is suppose 10 microfarad. Its capacitance is 10 microfarad. Now if I place a dielectric slab as medium here, okay. Now suppose dielectric slab is a medium and dielectric constant is 20. Then what will be the capacitance? C with dielectric as medium will be epsilon R into air as medium. So 20 into 10, 200 microfarad. So you can see the capacitance have been increased. Okay. So dielectric constant of medium is the ratio of capacitance with dielectric as medium to the capacitance with air as medium. If you will be given a simple problem, they can give you the capacitance of air core capacitor is 5 suppose nanofarad. And when a dielectric slab is inserted between the two plates, then the capacitance becomes 50 nanofarad. And they will ask you, what is dielectric constant? So dielectric constant will be C with dielectric as medium divided by C as air as medium. So 50 by 5, so that is 10. So this will be an important derivation for you. The dielectric constant of medium is defined as a ratio of capacitance of a capacitor with dielectric as medium to air as medium, provided distance between the two plates remains same. Okay. So bear this in mind. So children, we have finished with parallel plate capacitor. Sometimes we come with a variation of sandwich capacitors, that I will tell you. Sometimes suppose they give you, here we have we can line up plates like this. Suppose one plate is kept like this, the other plate is kept like this. And they will ask you, suppose this is D1 and this is D2, dielectric constant is K1 and this is K2, and surface area of each plate is A. Okay, positive. So by induction this will dl over charge, negative, del dl over charge, positive, del dl over charge, negative, positive, and this will be negative. So when you see dielectric slabs lined along the length of the plates like this, then we will be treating this as a combination. See, plus minus they connected together, it's a series combination. How will you be treating? Series combination. Capacitance of the first capacitor is C1 and this is C2. So this will be acting as series combination of capacitor. Similarly, if I line up two plates like this, this will be treated as, this is K1 and this is K2. If I line up like this will be treated as parallel combination. And in series combination, we have not done this, but we will be doing 1 by C is equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2, and here C will be equal to C1 plus C2 in parallel combination. Okay. So once you finish the type of capacitor, we will be coming to more of the sandwich capacitors. I will be discussing more conceptual problems. Okay. Now children, we will be discussing spherical capacitor. Spherical capacitor. As you already discussed in the first video, a spherical capacitor has two concentric hollow spheres. One hollow sphere is like this, having radius R1, and the other hollow sphere is like this, having radius R2. We know that they are identically charged. If charge on the sphere is plus q, charge on the outer sphere is how much? Minus q. Clear? We already know potential due to a hollow sphere on the surface and inside is same. So if I want to find out potential of the inner sphere, then that will be affected by the potential of the what? Outer sphere, because the negative charge, it will reduce the potential of the what? Inner sphere. Now potential of inner sphere V will be equal to K Q by R1 plus K minus Q by R2, right? So if I take KQ outside, 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, put Q here, R2 minus R1 divided by R1 R2. This is potential. Now this potential we can also calculate alternatively. We can consider a spherical cell at a variable distance r. Clear? and then you can calculate V is equal to minus E dot dr. We know that electric field due to the charge on the inner sphere will be directed where? Outwards radially, and dr will also be in the same direction. So minus kq by r square dr we can do r2 to r1, and if we solve this we get kq by r. 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. If you set up the limits, I can see the full derivation only, minus kq. If integrate is what? Minus 1 by r2 to r1. So minus minus you write this as plus q 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2, and this expression is essentially the same as this. Okay, so you can either use this direct formula or you can do it by integration. So therefore, capacitance of spherical capacitor is C is equal to Q by V, Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R2 minus R1 divided by R1 R2. So we cancel out Q and Q, then C will be equal to 4 pi epsilon naught R1 R2 divided by R2 minus R1. Yes. So here also you can see that capacitance of spherical capacitor does not depend upon the charge on the sphere. It is only depending upon the dimension, the values of R1 and R2. Right? The geometry of the spheres is important for you to understand. Now one more capacitor we will deal with, that is cylindrical capacitor. So let us finish cylindrical capacitor also. Cylindrical capacitor, children, cylindrical capacitor. Now what is a cylindrical capacitor, children? Cylindrical capacitor is an arrangement consisting of two concentric cylinders. It is an arrangement consisting of two coaxial cylinders, and cylinders, you know, they have what? Linear distribution of charge. So we will select radii be R1 and R2 and length is equal to L, and then we will also assume let linear charge density is equal to lambda. Right? We can make all these assumptions which you are familiar with. Let us understand what this capacitor looks like. This is the inner cylinder, and then we have this is another cylinder which is surrounding it. Okay, this is the outer cylinder. Right? They have linear distribution of charges. This is negative. Okay. The radius of the inner one is R1 and the outer one is R2. Now if I want to calculate potential difference between these two spheres, I can consider an imaginary cylinder here at distance r, like this. What distance? R, like this. This is dotted one, I can say. This is the imaginary cylinder that I am assuming like this one, and it has a variable radius r. It is variable radius r. Okay. So if I calculate electric field, and we know the charge and in length how much I have taken, lambda, right? So you can see that at any point here on the imaginary cylinder, electric field will be directed outwards and dr will also be directed outwards. Angle between these two is how much? Theta. So, and remember lambda is charge on what length? Unit length. So I will say potential difference due to unit length V will be equal to minus E dot dr. This will be R2 to R1. So minus E we know already, lambda by 2 epsilon naught. You have done linear charge distribution, electric field lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 r dr R2 to R1. Now if you change the sign of this integral, I can also write V equals to plus and take this lambda by 2 epsilon 0 outside as constant. So what do we have? 1 by r dr. Change the limits R2 to R1, because you know a to b fx dx property of differential integral is equal to minus b to fx dx. If we change the limits, then the sign also changes. So minus minus will become plus. You know integration of 1 by r is how much? Log r. If you are not a mathematics students, then you can just remember this is equal to log r. So v becomes lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught log r r1 to r2, and v becomes lambda by t epsilon naught r log r2 once log r1. I know properties of logs. Log a minus log b is log a divided by b. So it becomes v equals to lambda by 2 epsilon naught log of r2 minus r1. Remember children, base is exponential. You can change this base to base 10. So for that you have to multiply with 2.303. So it becomes 2.303 lambda log r2 by r1 divided by 2 pi epsilon naught. So children, this is potential difference due to unit length. So I will calculate now capacitance due to unit length. Therefore, capacitance due to unit length C is equal to Q by V, and Q is lambda, and V we already calculated here. We can use this expression 2.303 lambda log R2 by R1 divided by 2 pi epsilon naught. Cancel it. So C becomes 2 pi epsilon naught divided by 2.303 log R2 by R1. So children, this is capacitance due to what length? Unit length. But we know that length of this cylindrical capacitor is how much? L. So for calculating total capacitance, I need to multiply this by L. Therefore, capacitance C is equal to epsilon naught, I multiply by L divided by 2.303 log R2 by R1. So this is finally the capacitance of the parallel plate capacitor. So children, we discussed the three capacitors in this class, the parallel plate capacitor, and we did various cases associated with it. Then we did spherical, and we also did cylindrical capacitor. So go through all this concept, very important for you. Okay, thank you.